The role of the Anzacs in World War II was an important one, and according to author Calvin Crombie, one that was particularly important in the Middle East. He's currently in the South on a book tour promoting his 10th book, El Alamein, Halting an Impending Holocaust in the Middle East. Sarah Bedford spoke to him about his book and whether he thinks New Zealanders are aware of the role the country played.
What I do know is that New Zealanders, like Australians, are unaware of the fact that had we lost at Tobruk in 1941, El Alamein in 1942, then the German-led army would have gone into Egypt and crossed the Suez Canal into Palestine, and they would have annihilated, murdered up to 600,000 Jewish people. And so this is the story, it's the flip side of the coin. You know about your heroes like Charles Upham, who won 2 Victoria Crosses, you know about General Freyberg. Very few on either side of the ditch really understand the other side, which is the fact that we helped to save up to 600,000 or more Jewish people from the Holocaust.
Now, for you yourself, how did you actually come to learn of this and putting together a book on it?
Well, when I grew up in the outback of Western Australia, I developed an interest in Australia's military role in the Middle East, which means Anzac military role in the Middle East, and I went to live in Israel as a young fella in 1979. I was a 21-year-old, and I ended up by living there for about 25 years. And as a result of that, I began to be very, very interested in the role of the Anzac soldiers in the Middle East and went out to many of the military battlegrounds and so on and so forth. Had a lot of contact with Jewish people, those who had survived the Holocaust, but met many people who had lived in those regions during the war, and they all had exactly the same sentiment, that had Rommel's forces broken through at El Alamein and crossed over the Suez Canal, then they would have been annihilated. And so I began to put 2 and 2 together and realise our soldiers were very, very much involved in that victory at El Alamein. And in about 1988, I think it was, I happened to be involved in the discovery of a very special little Bible that was given by the Jewish leadership of Palestine of the time to Field Marshal Montgomery, the commander of the forces under whom we served. And that Bible was a gift of appreciation from the Jewish leadership to Montgomery for actually having saved them during and after the period of El Alamein in 1942.